If you are a Tunnel 10, 11, 12, or 13 looking to master Queen Charge Lavaloon, well, in this video we are going to be breaking down everything that you need to know about Queen Charge Lalo. So guys, we're going to start off with the basics, and we're going to be going over the Queen Charge and the Lavaloon here, just highlighting over them in order to give you guys an idea. For those of you who want some more in-depth guides onto these, I have two videos that I will link up there in the cards in order for you guys to take a look at those. I do plan on updating them in the future, but these are going to be the guides that I want you guys to really take a look at. They're very good, and they really allow you to understand both the Queen Charge and the Lavaloon portion a lot better. So we are going to have a replay on in the background as I talk about this, and we won't be long. We're just going to highlight a couple of the things that are very important in terms of this with the Lavaloon. So while we're going ahead, let's start with the Queen Charge. Queen Charge, you guys already know what a Queen Charge is. I've done a good chunk of videos in terms of Queen Charge strategies, but Queen Charge is making sure that you can charge your queen into the base to get specific defenses down. This is also going to create pathing, which is definitely something that you will need with a Lavaloon or Hog Riders or something like that. That's what you're doing with the charge. So what you're doing in terms of a Lavaloon is you are creating pathing. That is the main focus and goal of it. On top of this, what you should be looking for in terms of a base is, do you need to bring a baby dragon? That is going to be determined on how the defenses are placed. And that's really where you guys can really get the most out of it. So baby dragons are good. The king on one side is another really good way in order to create one side of the funnel. And then outside of that, you should be able to break into the base. Once you create the funnel, you're going to break in by either using a jump, which is a great option. I would definitely recommend it for beginners. Quad Quake is another great option, especially if there are a lot of compact compartments in the base. Another one would be something such as super wall breakers and regular wall breakers. Regular wall breakers do require a little bit of skill, but super wall breakers don't, so they're great options for those who really want to be able to break in a little bit quicker. Now, outside of this, you should be looking for different defenses, and we're going to be explaining that as we go through the video in terms of each of the different town hall levels. Now, another thing I want to go over is the Lavaloon portion. So the Lavaloon portion is something that is very much not really as known, but with that being said, you're going to see on the left of me the number of loons that you're going to need per defense in order for you guys to understand how to one-shot each of these defenses. This helps with deploying balloons. This isn't for, for the rest of it, because once your balloons group up, then they're going to start one-shotting. But for deploying loons, that is what you need to know. Now, on top of this, haste spells, you guys should be using maybe around, the minimum is going to be around 2, and I think the most at 4. So you guys got to really space out your haste spells. So hasting up to Wizard Towers, Multi-Infernos, Eagle, Air Sweepers, Expos, really anything that really hits air is definitely going to be a big key thing to use the haste on. The last thing I want to talk about is going to be the Lava Hound. The Lava Hound is basically your tank. So you want to look at air defenses where they're going to be able to sort of tank for a lot of defenses. And you're going to see that within this video. You guys are going to see the Lava Hound being able to tank for a lot. So that kind of sums up everything that you guys kind of need to know. A brief explanation. Remember that there's a much more in-depth explanation in the cards within those two videos. Other than that, let's move on into Town Hall 10 and teach you how to Queen Charge Lalo. So let's start here at Town Hall 10. We're going to be breaking down everything for those of you who are at Town Hall 10, step by step, and then we're also going to help you guys in terms of the key objectives and, of course, the Lavaloon portion as well. So let's first go over the key objectives. So what you are looking for is going to be things like, of course, the enemy CC, and enemy queen. These are going to be always going to be very, very important to take out. On top of this, you're also just trying to get at least 1 or 2 air defenses, and of course, the Inferno. As long as you can get one multi-inferno, then that is going to help you a lot get through the rest of the base. So that is what you need to keep in mind when you guys are using the Queen Charge portion. You're looking for those defenses in order to make sure that you're getting the most out of your attack. So when you're using this, you want to make sure that you are looking for an area to where all of that value is pretty close by. Now, of course, you could definitely, from this base here as an example, you may think that this is the best area. However, you're not guaranteed the multi-inferno. So instead, how about we enter in from the town hall side and we walk our queen almost like this into the base. This will give us access to both air sweepers, the multi-inferno, 2 air defenses, the enemy CC, and the enemy queen. That is a lot of good value there for our Lavaloon portion. And for our Queen Charge, it's a nice way to sort of clear out a section to where now we can kind of go around this dead zone, meaning that our Lavaloon portion is going to look more like this. And that is the aim of this entire thing, is to create a C shape in pathing for our entire attack. That's the goal. So what we're going to be doing is step by step going through this. So first of which, you want to start with the funnel. This means that you want to start with the queen on top of the town hall. Really depends on the base. So on this base here, what you're going to see is the queen on top of the town hall, and she's going to work herself down. And then on top of this, we have the king. King's going to go in first in order to make sure that he's creating a funnel right here. What this means is we're waiting for him to go out of range for us to then drop in the healers on top of the queen. This is now going to allow us to get our queen to move herself into the base like this. So you'll see from here, we're going to force our queen in here. But how do we force her from walking around the base? Well, this is where we are going to use either a baby dragon or a couple minions to clear up some of this and clear this area. Now we're able to easily jump into the base by having a jump, and that allows us to get into the base with no problem. That's all we're doing. So let's go ahead and watch that happen in action. I want to help you guys sort of with this. So we're taking that step by step. We're just looking at the funneling and we're allowing our queen to get in. So you'll see that what we're doing is we're dropping in our queen first. Then we are going to drop in a king and a wizard. And what's going to happen is the king is going to move like this down into the base. Since he doesn't have to go for the town hall, we can pop his ability in order to make sure that he is going in the direction, making sure that we can drop in the healers once he is out of range. So you'll see that now, once he's out of range, healers will then move right onto the queen. That is really simple, and that's how you funnel with the king. And on the opposite side, because the air defense is not in range of the minion, we're able to easily clear up this section, and we're now cutting off the funnel. So that means that this is what the funnel kind of looked like, basically. So when we use the king over here. So this is what you kind of get to see here in this one. That is the whole Queen Charge, or in terms of the funneling. So that's what you're doing. Now, when you're dealing with the enemy CC, you want to make sure that you're poisoning it up no matter what it is. And then you're also going to rage up your healers and queen. This will allow you to keep your queen alive and also allow her to sort of deal damage a little bit quicker, deal more damage as well. So that's why we're using the rage spells on top of the lava pups, as we can see right here, so that then we can rage up our queen and healers, keep them all alive as they get through that particular section. Once we have taken out the enemy CC, we should be guaranteed to take care of the enemy queen. Once we are guaranteed and we know that the queen is going to step up and take the enemy queen out, we can start our Lavaloon. Now, I want to pause it right here because I want to mention a couple things. So when we are sending in our Lavaloon, which I am going to go into a half speed here, you'll see that we have 3 balloons and 4 balloons. And then over here we have 4 balloons, and then there's another, I think maybe 3 or 4 balloons going into the other one. The main reason here is because if you take a look at what is targeting the Lava Hound, we have all 3 expos. So all 3 of these expos are locked onto that hound. Another thing is we've also got the wizard towers and stuff like that. So you can see exactly what is tanking there, or what defenses are basically being tanked for by that Lava Hound. So as we play it here, I want you guys to really take a look at what's going on. And you can see how much value that one Lava Hound gets. That means that we're keeping that Stone Slammer up at full health. And that's really important here. So then when we're using our haste spells, we want to make sure that we're not spamming them in. So don't think that you need to use all three at the so early on. Make sure that you're using them very scattered to where those balloons are going to take down stuff like Wizard Towers, Expos, maybe an Inferno, maybe even the air defense. That is always going to be very, very important. Outside of this though, something like using a haste with the back end Stone Slammer, like you see right here, because that Stone Slammer stayed alive, we are able to get through the back end of the base, and it allows us to clear up the rest of the defenses. So this, my friends, is how you guys can use it at Town Hall 10. I hope that this kind of helps you guys. I tried the best I can to kind of give you guys something that hopefully helps you. And one last tip before we leave Town Hall 10. Make sure that you're starting your cleanup right as soon as you're starting your Lavaloon. I'm not sure if you saw this in this example, but that's one tip I can give you. Let's go ahead and move on into Town Hall 11, where you guys will learn how to use it with the Warden and dealing with the enemy Eagle. Next up is Town Hall 11. So what we can see from here is we want to make sure that we are keeping in mind of a couple things. Of course, we need to look at where the enemy Queen and the enemy CC are in relation to all the other value. So this means that on this base design right here, as you can see here, we have a single Inferno yet again, but on top of this, we have the Queen and the CC fairly close to each other, but this time, we should only be able to get one air defense. As you can tell from this base here, we've got air defenses kind of like this. So we're only going to be able to get access to one of those air defenses. So the best thing to sort of do is take a look at where we would enter in from. So this seems to me like the best area to charge into because it is one long compartment. We can easily gut this out. And on top of this, we can easily lure out the enemy CC no matter what it is. And we could take out the Queen, which she would be in range of it in that entire compartment. And also in there, we get an Inferno, we can get an Expo, we can get 2 Archer Towers, we can get a Wizard Tower, and we can get an Air Defense and Air Super. That's huge, especially if we're going in behind the other Air Sweeper. That's really important, so keep that in mind. So, what are we going to be doing? Well, of course, we got to make sure that we're establishing a funnel. So we want to use a couple archers. So this is one tip I can give you guys. So for those of you who don't want to use a lot of housing space, then you could use a couple archers as long as you know that any of the archer towers or any of those ranged defenses are not in range. So that really can allow you to use minimal housing space to create one side of the funnel. So we're cutting this area, and then we're going to use the king over here, and he's going to establish this side. We're also going to use just a couple balloons to take down this archer tower. That's going to allow us to have a funnel basically here and here, allowing our queen to easily get in using the super wall breaker, which is another really neat way that you guys can break into the base from Town Hall 11 up. So let's go ahead and show you guys what's going on in action. So I want you guys to see that from this top side is we are using 2 archers to basically carve out an area up top at the base or of this base. So you guys get the idea, and it's really, really nice really nice funneling there when you only have to use 2 housing space to make sure that you are creating a funnel. Now you saw that there was a Coco Loon there that did soak up a Seeking Air Mine. Keep this in mind. You want to make sure that you are using a Coco Loon, at least one of your balloons, to soak up any Seeking Air Mines for those healers. You want to keep at least 4 to 5 healers on top of that queen at all times. Now, once you sort of start to establish that funnel, you can now go ahead and start using your super wall breaker and allowing your queen to enter into the base. You can see that we used another Coco Loon in order to keep the healer alive. Even though we're going into those air defenses and they're shooting down our healers, we're going to freeze them up. We have 3 freeze spells, so that's definitely very good here. You'll also see is that we are going to easily take care of the enemy CC we're going to deal with the enemy CC, but we're also going to deal with the enemy queen by freezing that up. So if we freeze up the enemy queen there so we're not taking more damage, we're raging up our queen to deal with the enemy CC, and of course poisoning it so we can deal with the lava pups as well. Outside of that though, we're going to easily clear that up, and once we are able to clear that entire section up, then we could start with our Lavaloon portion. So we're starting off with the slammer, just so that then we can create some pathing, so that then the balloons are not going in over here. But now we can drop in the lava hounds. And I want you guys to really take a look at this. Take a look at how much that these lava hounds here are going to tank for. So as we play this, I want you guys to really notice the Lavaloon portion. Notice how we have a couple groups. We have 12 balloons going in there in total. And we have the stone slammer as well. And the hound, or the hounds, tanked for basically 2 wizard towers, air defense, archer towers, and the inferno. That's huge value there for this entire attack. Now, if this multi-inferno, or this single inferno was on multi, then we wouldn't need to pop the warden ability. But we didn't, so all we had to do was basically just allow ourselves to get into the base. We just want to make sure that those lava pups are being distractions for that single inferno. This is where we would pop the warden ability right on the back end to protect all those balloons as they go through, especially going into the eagle, making sure that everything is staying protected, especially the warden. Outside of that though, we're going to easily allow ourselves to sort of clear up an area where we're going to be able to deal with the eagle very quickly, and then just Lavaloon the rest of the base. So you can see from here, good example. Of course, not the best built base, but still a good base design to show in terms of an example for this. It was pretty easy, pretty simple. I know, of course, that the queen ability was popped a little bit earlier rather than expected, but of course, that's going to happen with a lot of you guys who are a little bit brand new to this. Sewer wall breakers is definitely what I would recommend if you're not used to wall breakers, so definitely if you have access to them, totally use them. So this was Town Hall 11. I hope this kind of helps you guys a little bit more with this. But now we're going to move on into a little bit of a tougher Town Hall level. One that's been asked for a lot. Town Hall 12. Now we are getting into the tougher Town Halls. Town Hall 12 is next. And what we're seeing from here is we are going to be doing a Queen Charge Lavaloon into the eagle compartment with a quad quake. So after the last 3 examples, including this one, but these last 3 examples have shown you guys different ways of breaking in. Super wall breakers, using a jump, and using a quad quake. Really nice ways in order to break your queen into the base. And all of these work from Town Hall 10 all the way up to 13, so keep that in mind. Now, remember that what you're looking for is going to be the multi-inferno. So here, there is a multi-inferno, but on top of that, we also have a freeze. So in case it was a single, we would be able to easily deal with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to carve out an area here and an area here for our queen. That way, we can force her to charge into the base here, with that quad quake opening up a large section of that base. We're also going to have access to both air defenses, and we're going to narrow down our pathing to where all we have to do is just send in the balloons here, and because there is an air defense right by the town hall, that town hall is basically going to hit that lava hound, which means it's going to waste one of its, sort of beams onto the inferno, onto the hound, which is definitely going to help us a lot. So for those of you who are at Town Hall 12, I would suggest practicing this strategy. Of course, it doesn't work on every single base design, but if you can look for where you can get the enemy CC, the enemy queen, and the eagle all in a very similar area like you see right here, that is gonna be your necessary area and necessary value that you're looking for. The quad quake can actually open you up a lot more than anything else. So I want to play this one for you guys just to see what we're doing. So we're gonna be starting off with this queen charge. We're gonna use a balloon as a cocoa loon. We're going to use the king and a couple wizards. That's going to force the king down. But you can see with the quad quake too, we were able to open up this entire area right here. Huge value for a quad quake. So now, as you can see from here, we've already established the funnel that we're getting ourselves in. So now what I want you guys to really pay attention to is how we are getting our queen in and how we're dealing with everything, all the value that's in there. So notice how the queen is working her way into the base. She's going to deal with the enemy queen by freezing her up, so we don't have to use another rage spell with them. And on top of this, we're getting rid of both the air defense. We're also going to get rid of the enemy CC, the air sweeper, and the eagle. That's huge value right here for it. So you guys can see what is going on with this entire thing. We're going to deal with the enemy CC, which is just a baby dragon, which Ice Golem CC shouldn't be too hard to deal with. And all you have to do really is just poison it up. It's really that simple. So you don't need to really worry about, so much in terms of dealing with the enemy CC. Once you take down the air defense, boom, you can now start your Lavaloon portion. You are all set to go ahead and start using that Lavaloon portion. So you'll see that what we're doing is we are flying ourselves into the town hall. That is going to be one of the major things I would recommend doing. So you'll see that we have balloons, we have everything working themselves right here. So if I go ahead and zoom in, you guys can see what's going on. The warden is going to pop his ability once that stone slammer is over the town hall. That is going to protect all the balloons from the death damage of the town hall, allowing us to get through the rest of the base. That is when you should be popping the warden ability. If you get it with the Queen Charge, if there is a multi-inferno on the back end, I would suggest using it there. Outside of that though, the haste spells, as I've said before, have always been going to those big defenses like in multi-infernos, expos, wizard towers. Those are going to be things that are very important to go ahead and go in and take out. Outside of that though, you should be able for the most part to take out a large portion of defenses. Outside that though, you should be able to easily get the 3-star here at Town Hall 12. Hopefully this helps you guys a little bit more. I know it was a little bit quicker. We didn't have to talk so much about the other things as we broke it down in the previous examples. Let's go ahead. We are going to be jumping into one of the more tougher Town Hall levels right now. And of course, it's definitely the top Town Hall. It's Town Hall 13. So guys, we have got our final Town Hall, and this is Town Hall 13. So Queen Charge Lavaloon is viable here, but there are some unique differences between the other Town Hall levels and Town Hall 13. For one, you have the Royal Champion to worry about now. So this is definitely going to be something a little bit different. So I want to kind of explain this here. So when you're doing a Queen Charge Lavaloon, you are looking for that Royal Champion. And also for the queen. So if we take a look at this component right here, I want you guys to really take a look at what's there. We've got both scatter shots, which we can get one with the Queen Charge, other with the Royal Champion. We also want to take care of the Royal Champion herself, the enemy Royal Champion. Then we also still want to get the enemy CC, and we want to get the enemy queen. So even though the enemies or the CC is kind of like this, we'll still be able to lure it out, and we will still be able to deal with it. On top of that, we're still looking for those 2 air defenses, which you can see are pretty close together. Now, even though that there are 3 single infernos, we're still going to be able to get through a base like this. So it's really not that bad, and it kind of gives you guys that idea of what we're kind of doing with this. Now, I don't really have to explain so much so as a large portion of it is still roughly the same. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to drop in a couple sneaky goblins. Remember though that 3 sneaky goblins are enough to take down a storage. So make sure that you're knowing that, because they can be used for funneling if they're used correctly. So you'll see right here is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to make sure that we're charging into the scatter shot compartment. The main reason to why is because we want to be able to basically get in the base, take down that Royal Champion, and then use the rest of our wall breakers to break in. Very similar to how you would use this against multi-infernos, you will be using this against scatter shots. Now remember though that you don't want to place in your healers too late. You want to place them in once she starts taking damage, so keep that in mind. But remember to rage up your queen when you're dealing with stuff like the enemy Royal Champion, the enemy CC, and the enemy queen. But remember that you're also looking for the air defenses and for any other air targeting defenses, like what the Royal Champion is getting here. She's being able to taking care of the scatter shot and a couple more defenses. Now, I just want to pause it here really quickly just to explain something. Now, in this case, he got both scatters, but most of the time you're not going to be able to do that. So what you're going to have to do is you will have to use your Royal Champion to get another air defense if your queen only gets one. Other than that, you can probably try and make sure to control the pathing with her. That way, what you can do is you can use her in a section of the base just to sort of create a bit more pathing for your Lavaloon. And that's all you're doing with her if she's not going in for the scatter shot, of course. Outside of that, though, you want to make sure that you are being able to sort of use basically your entire sort of Queen Charge and your Royal Champion in order to clear that. Now we have the Lavaloon going in. Now this is a really important part. Again, I've already mentioned with the haste spells, but this is really, really important here. And this is actually going to be the blimp. The blimp is going to fly over with the Warden ability, and what's going to pop into is a Hound and Sneaky Goblins. The Sneaky Goblins are taking care of the Town Hall, and the Lava Hound there is going to tank for the rest of the Lavaloon portion as they get closer to that air defense. Then we're going to use free spells there in order to make sure that the balloons get to those defenses in time. If this one was a multi-inferno, I would definitely use those free spells a little bit more frequently, but you can still see easily getting it done, and that's how simple it is at Town Hall 13. Yeah, that definitely looked a lot more complicated, but I would definitely say this, I still have yet to try it, so definitely this kind of makes me want to, and it is easier when you have the blimp with the Sneaky Goblins and the Lava Hound. I'm sure some of you guys have probably seen that from other content creators like Itsu and Carbonfin, but outside of that though, it's a really great option, which is something that you guys should think about doing at Town Hall 13. But hopefully that this finds you well. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this entire guide, and hopefully you guys will definitely share it with your clanmates. This guide definitely I put a lot of effort into, so remember to hit that like button. It really does mean a lot. Lets me know that you guys want to see more of these videos. Another thing is, feel free to go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my content. If you guys want to watch me go live, feel free to follow me over on Twitch and Trovo, not Madcat, but Trovo. Definitely those links are in the description, along with my Discord server and my Twitter and Instagram. Another thing, feel free to go ahead and join any of the clans that you guys want to, or if you guys want to join any of the clans I'm covering. And don't forget to join my community Discord server, as you guys can be with like-minded people over there. But with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.